Hello guys, this is Brian from the SAP Consultant channel. I'm here to help you with some topics, processes and settings, so even if you don't have much experience, you can successfully implement them. Our topic for today is purchase order release strategy. We will check what settings are required in the system, and with some examples, we will see how the complete process works. This process is used in all kinds of industry and clients. So let's start. Release strategy uses the classification system. So let's go directly to our customizing. So here we have to go material management, purchasing, purchase order, and release procedure for purchase orders. As we mentioned, we had to use classes. And in each class, in this case, this is the one that we will use in, we have to define characteristics. In our case, we have defined 5 characteristics. One for document type, purchasing organization, purchasing group, total value, and purchasing document category. You know that in each characteristic, you have to define the field that is referring to the characteristic, and in all purchasing characteristic, we have to use the structure CEKKO. Release strategy is also class type 32. So let's go to define our process. We have to go through all these steps. So the first one is the release groups. In our case, we will work with BG, I just created, and release object 02 is related to purchasing documents. In the case that you are working with purchase requisition, you will use number 1. So BG is our release group. Then you have to define release codes for your release group. In my case, I have defined 2 codes, 01 and 02. We have seen that 01 is like the buyer and 02 is his manager. These are the levels. Then we have release indicators. These indicators set what is the status of the document at a certain point. In the case we have status A, for example, we can define that it is the document is released or not released. And we also have a changeable indicator. With this indicator, we can set how the document will behave once you have this specific indicator. You could say that it cannot be changed, as in the case, for example, of R. Or you can say, yes, it can be changed, as in the other cases. If you say that the document can be changed, you can have a new determination of the strategy or without determination of a strategy. And also, if you define that the document can be changed, a new release strategy could be determined, you use a percentage value change. In our case, I'm using 10%, meaning if we have a change more or less than 10% value in the document, there will be a new release strategy determination. We will be using B for release and R for not release. Finally, we have the release strategy configuration. So here we have to create our strategy. I just create 2, set 1 and set 2, that are still linked to our release group BG. The first one is for values equal or less than 10,000, and the other for values greater than 10,000. Let's take a look in the first one. First point, we have to indicate which release code will be linked to this strategy. Here we have only one level, so we are using 01. As prerequisite, we don't have anything because we have only one level. Then we set up the release indicator sequence. So when 01 has not yet released, we have to indicate which release indicator will be linked. In our case, B meaning not released, but it can be still changed if there is a 10% change in the value. Once the 01 releases, then the indicator will change to R. It is released without any changes. And then we have to fill up the classification tab. Here we have to populate our values so the system can determine this specific strategy. So for us, we will use in document type MB, purchasing organization 1000, purchasing group 000, total value equal less than 10,000 euros, and the purchasing document category purchase order. So based on, we can also make a simulation, simulate values, okay, release possible for 01, and when you make the release, it says release affected, and you have the status release. So you can check what happened once the release codes are released. So in set 2, in this case, we have two levels. Let's say we said the buyer and the manager. So we have to set up the prerequisites. So here we said that to release 02, first we have to release 01. In the statuses, we have in none of them have still released, status is B. If only one release, status still remains on B, yeah, changeable with the 10%. And if both releases, then it's go to G, that is release. Classification will be the same, but here we have a value greater than 10,000. And we also can have this simulation to see what happens. 01 is release possible, so it is release 1 is affected, it goes to 02, release possible. If we release it, then the document is released. Okay, so now that we have checked all the customizing points, let's go and make an example. So let's create a purchase order. We have vendor, purchasing organization, that is one of our characteristics, purchasing group, also one of the characteristics. We have material, quantity, price, plant. So in this case, we can see that we have a value of 1,000. So this is less than 10,000. So when the release strategy is determined, we will see a new tab here in the header level. We have to say that for purchasing documents, we only can use header level. In the case of requisition, you have the option to use header level or item level. So from here, if we make a check with this icon, the system will make standard check-if, and it will determine the release strategy. So here we see that we have set 1 that is release less than 10,000 with the code 01. So when we save, we have document 37. If we take a look at this document 37, we can see the release strategy is here, and the document is not yet released. If we make a change, this document can still be changed. Now, let's go and release it. We have two options, an individual release and a collective release. Let's do first the individual release. So here we set up our document 37, and we just go to the release strategy tab and click on release. Now this is released and we can save it. Okay, document is released and saved. Now if we display this again, 37, and we click on change mode, we have the message that the purchasing document has release indicator R and changes are not possible. Okay, this is based on our customizing of the release indicator R. Now let's create another one with a greater value. So we use same vendor and the same header data. We will use more quantity in this case and the same plant. Now we have a total value of 11,000, so this is greater than 10,000. So in this case, if we check again the document, we will determine a release strategy. In this case, it will be set 2, where we have two levels of releases. First one 0.1 and then 0.2. And we have the 38 number. So let's go and check the collective release. Here you have to put the release code. You can also put a release group. In this case, we have only one, that is a 38. So from here, we can quickly make a release and save. This is done. So now our document is already released. If we go in change mode, we will see 0.1 is released, 0.2 is release possible. Okay, and we have strategy set 2. So now what happens if we have a change in the value that is greater than the 10%? So let's change the quantity again to 1,000. So the value in the document will change from 11,000 to 1,000. So this is more than a 10% change. So if we check again, we will see that release already effective will be cancelled. So we have a new release strategy determination. As in this case, the value is less than 10,000. The system will determine set 1, and it's replacing the set 2 strategy determined before. So now we can save it. And in this case, the document will now have again only one level of releases. When we release again with 0.1, then it will be done. So this is how basically this functionality works, and it's very helpful as this will be used in all your clients. If you enjoyed this demo, please click on like and subscribe to my channel, as I continuously uploading more videos. Hello and have a good day. Bye bye.